Then swear you won't never tell where the money's hid. Not even your mom. You got common sense, she ain't.
Charles Laughton wasn't even a director, he was an actor, but somehow he created a film so far ahead of its time that audiences hated it, until it became a legend, and filmmakers are still stealing from it today, almost 70 years later. I never thought I'd see a movie this old that was actually scary. The Night of the Hunter came out in 1955, directed by Charles Laughton, and this movie actually has some pretty quick cuts for being that old. I'm not saying it's fast-paced or anything, but especially the first half of the movie, I was actually mostly on the edge of my seat. There's some beautiful shots in this movie, sometimes really interesting editing, and I really love the very moody lighting and framing for a lot of the movie. It's just incredible looking for a black and white movie from 1955. It's like some beautiful horror in a way, like what the new Nosferatu was trying to be. The movie's mostly pretty slow paced and almost relaxing even for how dark and thrilling it is at other times. There's a really nice heavy southern atmosphere, especially in the second half of the movie. Not as much as like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but similar. Ben Harper is on the run from cops for stealing $10,000, and he gets home just in time to give his kids the money and tell them to run and hide it.
Then swear you won't never tell where the money's hid. Not even your mom.
Yes, Dad.
You understand?
Not even her?
You got common sense, she ain't.
Before the cops arrive and arrest him, he's actually immediately sentenced to hanging, so he leaves behind his wife as a widow and his kids to grow up without a father. In prison, he's roommates with a man named Harry, who he tells everything. I guess because he's gonna die anyway, may as well, right? He talks about his wife and the kids and the money. He literally says everything except where the money is. When Ben falls asleep, Harry prays to God about how lucky he feels for this happening to him, and when Harry gets out of prison, he immediately takes on a new life in Ben's town, lying to and befriending the locals with tales of comforting Ben until his dying breath as the penitentiary pastor, where he resigned because he couldn't take the heartbreaking death of his new friend. So Ben's wife, the poor widowed woman especially, can't help but be attached to these stories. She's skeptical at first, but eventually she succumbs to the lies of Harry. She falls for him and can't understand why her son John is the only one in town who can't trust him. I guess Ben was right about trusting his kid more than his wife, because she then just marries Harry, right? And the movie's almost like a game of him trying to weasel out where the money is from the kids, and the kids being smart enough to realize that they're in danger, but not really old enough to do anything about it. I will admit the second half of the movie became a little meandering to me. It kind of changes tones as the kids become on the run. Yeah, Harry, for some reason, about halfway into the movie, just kills his new wife, and the bastard won't even sleep with her first, no matter how much she begs him, because he's a holy man. So then he uses that to tell the townspeople after he kills her that she left off to go cheat on him with other men because he wouldn't sleep with her. And for some reason, all the townsfolk just believe it, but Harry still can't kill the two orphan kids. So that's when they stash the money in a doll and run away. I definitely think the first half of the movie was actually a masterpiece and really building up to be kind of a perfect old horror movie. But yeah, once Harry kills the widow with the pacing change, it wasn't even worse. It was really just the mystery went away a little bit, and I kind of wish it was just the first half of the movie extended more almost. In the second half of the movie, the mystery just goes away a little bit for me. I still like it. The second half almost feels like some weird hybrid of The Wizard of Oz and Apocalypse Now, which is crazy. A little bit of Eden Lake mixed in there too, with just the restlessness nature of the villain, I'd say. Feeling so inescapable. I do wish The Night of the Hunter was that scary. Eden Lake probably disturbed me more than any other movie. But obviously a movie from 1955 isn't gonna be that bad. It definitely holds up for being 70 years old. I get why so many of the people that do know about this movie consider it a horror classic. It was really influential. It influenced Stephen King, for example. So I get why people think it's a classic masterpiece of old horror, and I don't disagree. I do want to talk just a little bit about Charles Laughton, just because him only having the one film was kind of the inspiration for this video. Sadly, there's nothing as interesting as I hoped. He grew up going to Catholic school, then served in World War I before getting into theater during his late 20s and early 30s, and he was apparently a pretty prominent and well-revered movie star back in in like the 40s. This book about the movie stars of cinema's golden years has this to say about him. Laughton was a total actor. His range was wide. He continued acting and even wrote some movie scripts, I guess, up until 1955 when he directed The Night of the Hunter, which became the thing he's most known for. Over time, it's gained a cult following, although at the time it released, it did actually bomb. Charles was actually intending to, and it seemed like even started to, direct his second film, The Naked and the Dead, but he either changed his mind or got replaced in the process. I've seen both. Either way, that happened because his first movie underperformed. So instead of directing anything else, he did some more acting for the final 7 years of his life after that. By the way, this film is actually based on a book of the same name, The Night of the Hunter, and that book is actually based on a real serial killer named Harry from the 30s who killed at least 2 widows by pretending to fall in love with them first, and he also killed their kids as well. And I think that obviously makes this entire thing a whole lot more chilling. You know, I have seen a lot of other, not a lot, I've seen a fair amount of old black and white horror movies, mainly like a bunch of Hitchcock movies, of course, but then also the old Nosferatu and Dracula and other monster ones. They're usually monster ones back then, right? That's why this is so interesting. Let me know any other black and white movies that are this good and underrated. I want to watch them, because I'm not saying this is better than any of the other old horror movies I've seen necessarily. It's better than some, but the intensity of it definitely just holds up a lot better nowadays, I think. I think it holds up a lot better today, horror-wise, actual scariness-wise, better than a lot of other black and white movies do. Again, sadly, the biggest problem with the movie is that I don't think the second half keeps that up that well. I do wish the movie was, the first half of the movie extended to be the whole time. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you like this video. Go check out the movie for real if you think it sounded interesting. It's really good. And other than the general plot, I didn't spoil too much of what actually happens, to be honest. Only if you already like old movies, though. I'm not gonna lie, if you've seen some black and white movies and haven't liked any, yeah, you're probably not gonna be too entertained by this either. But I like old movies. Yeah, this video was a lot of fun to make. What a sick movie to discover. Let me know if there are any other weird unknown movies you want me to make a video about, because I want to do more videos like this. This was really fun.